Hey guys, welcome back to another newsletter. I'm really excited about this one. I want to go through a lesson that I recently did with you. What I'm doing in this lesson is helping a girl learn a piece of music that is too hard for her. Often, especially if I get to work with kids one-on-one, like you're going to see in a minute, I like to have them do something that is about 115 to 120% of what their capacity is. Now, I don't do this all the time. I tend to do this when a student is rested, when they're emotionally doing well. I don't do it when they're stressed out or strung out on something else. So I do this when they're really ready for a challenge. What you're going to watch me do is strategically set her brain up to recognize wins and joys. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first time was 100% hard. Second time was like 90% hard. How hard was that one?
Not that hard.
Was like 50% hard?
Yeah.
So wait a minute. In only 3 times, it got down to 50% instead of 100%? Okay, let's do it again. So watch it again if you can. Go back and watch, because what we just did was we went through something, we played it 3 times in a row. And each time it got easier. But even though practice always makes things easier, that's what practice does, most students, while they're doing the practice, don't actually recognize that things are getting easier. It's something that you have to point out. Now, this student is relatively new to me. She's someone who doesn't have a lot of musical experience in her background. So teaching her how to practice and showing her the rewards of practice is a big deal. What I want you to notice is, as I told her that things were getting easier for her, as I pointed that out and highlighted it, her body started dancing. You could see her getting more excited. Let's move on to the next part. Oh wait, do you want to do it again or keep moving?
Keep moving.
Okay, so notice I gave her a choice there. That's actually really intentional, because sometimes if you're like, hey, let's keep going, the student might actually want to try something again. They might not feel comfortable continuing yet. So I gave her a choice. Okay, shake your hands out.
Shaky, shaky.
Why in the world am I having her shake her hands out? If you were with us through our series on the brain, you know that the hindbrain is the part that moves your body. If the hindbrain gets stuck in a position, or the muscles stay in one kind of set position, they actually tend to be unable to learn new things. This sort of musculature holding, it leaves people unable to move naturally. So you have them shake it out to kind of do a hindbrain reset, is essentially what it is. We'll come back to this in a minute.
Okay.
And even though you haven't practiced it, it'll still be easier. That's the weird thing. Okay, let's start right here. There it is. And now that. Yeah, that's that note. What's that note? You're using the same fingers on both. So that's actually really easy. Let's make, here, watch, 4 and 4. There, that'll give us a hint. I have a question. Do you want to try this again, or do you want to keep going?
Keep going.
Okay. So this is actually a hindbrain trick. Remember that the hindbrain, the moving brain, is way smarter than the thinking brain. Knowing that the right hand plays an A and the left hand plays an A, actually it's G in this case, but that both fingers are playing the same note is fine, but that requires looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up to do the reading. If she knows, hey, here, both of my number 4 fingers play, then what she's getting is this great physical feedback that gives her way faster responses. Jennifer, what interval is this? 1, 2, 3. It's a fourth. Do you know a fourth? So it's like this one and then a fourth up. Okay, play this one really quick. Okay, shake your hand out. Play it again. Okay, shake your hand out. Play it again. Shake your hand out. Play it again. Okay, good. So for this last little bit, did you notice I had her play something and then shake her hand out, doing that hindbrain reset that we said? This is actually really, really key. Playing something, getting the physical biofeedback and then shaking it out and then playing it again. What it's going to give her hindbrain is that repetition that it needs, right? Repetition, shaking it out. Repetition, shaking it out. Repetition, shaking it out. What it does is it makes the hindbrain more secure, which makes the midbrain calmer. Now, when she sees that, she doesn't have any problem playing it because she sees it and she feels it in her fingers before she has to process it with her thinking brain. That's really half the battle with learning an instrument or learning to sing, especially singing intervallically, seeing the intervals, hearing and being able to produce that with your throat, with your vocal cords. That is huge. Stick with us because we're actually going to do a little bit more with Cherry and some of her friends next week. We're going to get into actual practical teaching examples, how you can use this with your students so that you can see how students actually react. Looking forward to seeing you next week.